I got some questions for Marc-Andre that I prepared, and a lot of these things are based on what you've been asking me. So Marc-Andre, should people focus on calculating macros, or should they focus on calories?
All right, so I think this is a question that we ask ourselves a lot, especially if we're sitting stale, we're not getting progress, we're starting to question ourselves. Actually, both of them are important. I think the most important thing when you're calculating calories is, and I think most of you are using the FitPal application, which is a good application to start using. Answer the questions as you're setting up your profile. It's very important. Be specific when you're entering what kind of employment you have. How the level of activity that you have in your employment makes a difference in your calorie range. How active you are as well is very important, whether you're in the gym or outside. These are, the more accurate you are in setting up your profile, the more accurate your calorie intake will be for the day. With this being said, your macros are, I think to me, would be the most important when you're eating individual meals. So what I mean by that is you've got your total calorie intake for the day that your FitPal is suggesting, and when you're setting up or preparing your meals, I think people go where they make the biggest mistake is they're not preparing each serving properly ratioed between your macros. And when I say macros, it's fat, carbohydrates, and protein. So every time you eat a meal, whether it be a snack, a dinner, a lunch, a breakfast, you need to have all three: fat, carbohydrates, and protein. Okay? So this is where most of the people will drop the ball in getting good results.
Would you agree that a good ratio for macros would be like between 30 and 40% for protein, and then separate the rest according to your body type?
Yeah, this is, as a general rule, this is what I would recommend. 30 to 40% protein, and everybody's different. We all have different body types. We assimilate food differently. So the body will use fat and carbohydrates as a fuel, as an energy source. So you don't want to confuse your body. You want to know which one's the best for you, and it's understanding your body type. And there's things that can help you understand which one's the best for you. But I don't want to go into too many details. The general rule would be 30 to 40% protein, and on your carbohydrates you'd want no more than 30% of carbohydrates. Okay, so and the rest would make up for the fats. That's a general rule.
As you know, there's a lot of people in the competition, including myself, who are doing or have done the keto diet. You've done that in the past, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that it's possible to gain muscle mass on that kind of diet?
Okay. So, as a specific question, yes, it is possible. So here's there's an illusion when you're doing the keto diet. There's your body goes through a big change, and you have to know you're cutting out all starchy carbohydrates. So that's the amount of sugars that you're introducing in your body. Your body, when it digests sugar or starch, it'll store it in your muscle, and for each particle of sugar or carbohydrate, there's 2 particles of water that are being attached. So all the water intake that you take, when you're digesting carbohydrates, your body, your water is attaching itself to the carbohydrate and it's being stored into the muscle. So your body weight overall increases. So that's a bit of an illusion, and your muscles look bigger because you've got water retention into your muscle. It's not a bad thing, it's just an illusion to the eye. It just looks bigger and it looks like you've gained some muscle, and you get onto the scale and your weight is higher, so you assume that you've put on some muscle, but it's not necessarily that. And on the keto diet, there's no carbs, so your water retention is extremely low, and that's why they suggest to intake sodium, and your minerals are extremely important on that diet because you've got very little sources of fruits and other starches and grains that have minerals in there. So you got to watch out for sodium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, and so on. There's a list that you need to watch, but the key here is your keto diet is high in fat. Fats are related to the hormonal system. So you're actually changing how your body balances your hormonal system in favor of increasing your muscle mass. So that's how you're going to put on some muscle tissue on a keto diet, is with the fats. Now your water retention is going to be extremely low. You want to take in some good quality salt, some sea salt or Himalayan salt that counteracts your body not holding on to water. So those are things that you want to consider. But absolutely, yes, you can put on some lean quality muscle with a keto diet.
Okay. Now, do you need to be in ketosis for that process to actually work, where you start feeding more off of your fat and you can have a higher fat intake? Reason I'm asking is because I don't do well without carbs. I generally don't like it. I don't feel good. So the keto diet is good for me short term. Long term, it's not. However, I really like the effects of having a high fat diet. My skin is no longer dry. I don't have any dandruff. My joints don't hurt. So, but I've always eaten pretty low in fat. So, would it be a good thing for me to keep a relatively low carb diet with high fat and high protein?
It goes back, I think, to everybody is different. Everybody's got a different body type. What I've noticed in the past, I've helped out other people in your just like you've didn't react well to the keto diet. It's not sustainable long term. I've seen people where their liver was saturated with fat and they just couldn't break it down properly. The liver had a hard time converting the fats into ketones, and it was just extremely hard. So what I've noticed is that blood type, metabolic type individuals that I compare don't have the same ratios in fat, carbohydrates, and protein. We have to manipulate those and change those ratios as far as percentage of calorie, because it's, for some people, it's too much for the liver to be able to break down. For some people, they don't stay in ketosis when they introduce carbohydrates. Their body goes into trigger and uses the carbohydrates right away. Those are triggers for me that say, okay, this individual we need to lower the amount of fat, increase and introduce some more carbohydrates, and either increase also the protein intake or lower the protein. So it depends on there, but absolutely right. If it's not meant for everybody, there's different variations of the keto diet. There's carb cycling keto diet. There's moderate fat instead of high fat. So there's a reason why there's different variation, and that's exactly for the same reason that I've explained. It's not meant for everybody. It's a good short-term solution to drop the weight, but you need to find out what is sustainable for you in the long run.
more question that actually a lot of people make this comment. They come for a weigh-in, and especially at the beginning, they go, "Oh, you know, I first off, before I get to that question, Mark, is it normal for someone to lose 10 pounds in a week?"
It's not healthy. Anybody who sits with me and we discuss a nutrition plan and a strategy to lose weight and be healthy, I never suggest dropping 10 pounds, or what I aim for is about a pound and a half a week.
Okay.
That's a sustainable strategy. It's a healthy strategy, and I mean, doing this it's drastic. It's most likely you're going after the results on the scale, and you're foregoing your health and all the other benefits.
So if someone comes in here on the weigh-in and complains because they have only lost 2 pounds, what would you say to that person?
I think I would just go back and probably ask them, how did you lose that 2 pounds, and how can you sustain that for the next weeks
So
coming up?
2 pounds is a great result.
That's extremely good.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. You
And
hear
if
that?
it's sustainable, then kudos. You've got a good formula. It works. Sustain it.
Okay. Other question, which I was going to ask before. People who are not getting good results that come in and they gain a pound or something like that. They go, you know what? I was stuck, and then maybe I'm building muscle because muscle weighs more than fat. How long would it take you if you were working out hard and you supplement yourself with really good supplements like good protein, whatever? How long would it take? You figure, of course, it's an opinion, but how long would it take for it to make a difference? Your weight to go up. For an everyday person, not necessarily in a weight loss competition, but how long would it take for you to gain weight because of muscle?
Okay. So if I'll answer the question with some really good information. Put it this way, and a competitive athlete that follows a regimented plan and is persistent throughout the year, depending on the age group they're in. They're looking, and they're natural, an Olympian level athlete. They're looking at probably gaining anywhere from 8 to 10 pounds of lean body mass in 12 months. So this equates to about a pound or less per month, and that's regimented and a competitive athlete. So if we're transforming this to an everyday individual, probably looking at anywhere from 3 to 5 pounds a year of lean muscle, depending on if they have a long-term strategy to keep this up. But at first, yes, absolutely. If you've never been active and all of a sudden you're subjecting yourself to the gym, you're lifting weights, in a matter of 2 weeks, your body has no choice but to adapt to what you're getting him to do, and it will build muscle. How much muscle? It all depends on your nutrition. But putting on like 3 pounds of muscle in 1 week, subjecting yourself to this is impossible.
So, Mark, why don't you tell us a bit about the other thing that you do here at the gym? It's called muscle activation technique. Tell us a bit what that consists of.
Yeah, so that's probably the thing that I'm most proud of is I've started muscle activation technique about 3 years ago. I went through a certification process called the Jumpstart program. This company has been in existence for about 23 years. They're in the States, and they surround all the athletic world. This is where it all got developed and started through the NHL in the States, and it made its way into Canada. And it's meant for everybody. And what I do is, all it is really is a tool that I bring to the table in order to help people find their most uncomfortable position, whether it be training into the gym or as you're moving your body around every day. When I say uncomfortable position, is the most vulnerable positions that your body is being put in that would put you at risk for injuries. My tool allows me to identify these areas in your body, and it allows me to strengthen them and put focus on building up that instability. And as we progress through the sessions, these treatments and the people that work with me will find that they have more mobility, they've got more flexibility, they've got more strength, and they have less tension elsewhere in the body. So it's the difference between always walking on ice and being able to walk on the ground. So when you're walking on the ice, your body's always tense, your stability, mobility is impaired, but when you're walking on the ground, you're more relaxed, you've got good traction. So that's what MAT does for individuals.
I know that personally, I had an injury that has been a recurring injury for years in my forearm, and basically what Mark did for me is that he followed the chain of muscles to find that my rear delt wasn't activated, therefore my bicep wasn't activating when I was doing bicep curls or doing pull-ups or pull-downs, and I was using the muscle in my forearm to lift the weight, and so that got strained. And so we worked on reactivating my rear delts, and I haven't had that problem since. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you, big boy.
Yeah.
So guys, don't be a stranger. Marc-André is here in the gym pretty much every day. So anyways, this is your guest speaker for today. I will see you next week.
So thank you everybody for listening to me, and I would encourage you, if you want some more information, check out my website. It's myrockbottomfitness.com, and I'm also at the gym, and I'm on Facebook under My Rock Bottom Fitness, and also Marc-André Doth. So and I've got business cards here, and so like my page and send me a message if you got any questions. Be more than happy to help you out. Thank you very much for listening.